What a difference a week can make. Welcome to our Buffs recap here on 850KOA.com. 31-13, the Colorado Buffaloes victorious over the University of Hawaii here in the home opener at Folsom Field. Along with Larry Zimmer, I'm Mark Johnson. Zim, the Buffs came out. Well, no, they didn't come out in the first half. Hawaii played a great half, was up 10-0 in the break, and then the Colorado found itself at halftime. I don't know what the change was, but they exploded.
I was going to add to that. You say what a difference a week can make, what a difference a half can make.
Amen.
I mean, it was a different football team in the second half. There's no question. I really thought that the Buff defense played well, even in the first half. Mm-hmm. They pretty much controlled that offense. This team puts a lot of points on the board, and they did control that.
Buffaloes had a 250-200 day, 250 yards rushing, 2 players over 100 yards. First time the Buffs have had that since 2002 when Chris Brown and Bobby Purify did it. This happened to be Brian Lockridge and Speedy Stewart, 200-yard passing day. That's the way that offense is supposed to look.
You're right. And, Brian Lockridge might be the biggest thing that happened to this football team today. If he can sustain that and come back every week and rush the way he did today to help Speedy Stewart out a little bit and 1-2 punch, I was impressed. It's the best game that Brian has played.
Well, we all know that for the past week, after that 52-7 loss at Cal last week, that offensive line took a lot of heat. They really came back, I thought, and established themselves. Were really dominant, in particular in the second half, and that's going to have to be the way this team plays for the rest of the season.
You see what it did to the passing game,
by
being able to run. Hansen wasn't scrambling around. He had time in the pocket. He hit that long pass to Clemens. He had a couple of really nice passes to McKnight, and I guess we won't even talk about the tip pass. Tony says, well, I knew where he was all the time. I don't believe that, but anyway, that's the kind of the good things happen when you're playing well. And that's what happened to the Buffaloes.
Yeah, a 73-yard touchdown reception, really on a broken play that Tyler Hansen bought some extra time, found Tony Clemens, and then Zim referring to the volleyball play that was deflected to the 3 or 4 yard line where Scotty McKnight ran it in. This team needed this. There's no doubt about that. Now they've got a couple of weeks until the Georgia Bulldogs come here to Folsom Field. They've got to continue this momentum.
They do, and I think that'll be a lot easier over this 2-week period. Just think if they'd have lost that one today. You have to sit out for 2 weeks and think about it. They have a very positive thing to think about as they prepare for Georgia. And that's another key. They've got 2 weeks to prepare for Georgia. And I think that's important. I'm looking forward to that game. I think it's going to be a dandy.
Yeah, the Buffs, if they would have lost one, there could have been plenty of changes surrounding this program. Let's be quite honest about it. Well, Colorado next in action. It's a week off, and then the Georgia Bulldogs on a day when Colorado celebrates the 20th anniversary of the 1990 National Championship.
Yeah, and that's going to be a special day for me, too.
Sure.
To see these old guys. What was it? Mike Bones said about 80 of them are coming back?
Something like that,
That's amazing. And I think that's really a tribute to Coach McCartney and a tribute to those players that they're willing to come back here to celebrate that.
Well, maybe the current Buffaloes will appreciate that history and get a victory. It was a close loss a couple of years ago in Athens, Georgia. Maybe the Buffs can repay the favor of the Bulldogs on Saturday, October 2nd. That's a 5 o'clock game. Larry and I and Victor Rogers will hit the air at 3:05 on our flagship station, 850 KOA, and then our network affiliates will pick up at 3:30. The kickoff just after 5 o'clock between the Buffs and the Bulldogs of Georgia as the Big 12 meets the SEC. For Larry Zimmer, I'm Mark Johnson. Colorado wins it over Hawaii, 31-13. Thanks for joining us here on our Buffs recap on 850KOA.com.